This year, I'm celebrating a big milestone, one that 87% of realtors never reach. And over the next couple of episodes, I'm going to share the lessons that have shaped me as a business owner, the first 12 right now. So in November of this year, I will celebrate my 25th anniversary in real estate. I got licensed roughly November 1st of 1999. I'll never forget my first real estate transaction, and I'll never forget some of the lessons that I've learned in the last 25 years. And I thought, you know what, why not share maybe 25 things that I've learned in the last 25 years, whether that be about life, real estate, business, whatever it might be. Number one, it's sometimes hard to tell people, but your home isn't necessarily your greatest asset you will purchase in your lifetime. Now, homeownership can certainly be a great tool to build wealth, but if you really think about your home over the course of the time that you own it, whether that's 2 years or 2 decades, and you think about the maintenance, the repairs, the taxes, the insurance, all of those things that go along with it, and the appreciation and the depreciation, the ups and downs in the marketplace, the interest you paid on the home, and you really put it on a spreadsheet. I'll be honest with my clients and tell you that it's not necessarily the greatest asset you'll ever own in your lifetime. It's a great tool to build wealth. There's a lot of other things you can do with your home to leverage other opportunities. But if you really think about the investment you have in your home and what you net when you sell it, I'll bet the majority of homeowners come out in the red rather than the black. It's your largest asset you'll ever purchase in your lifetime, but not necessarily the best investment you'll ever make. 2, I've talked about this before. If there's one thing I've learned specifically in the last 5 years is the American consumer is payment-driven and not price-driven when it comes to purchasing a home. It's been very interesting the last 5 years to watch people go into bidding wars on homes and pay 105, 110% of asking price just to secure a low monthly mortgage payment because interest rates are in a good spot and they had fear of missing out on low interest rates. I will tell you as I sit across the table from you today that I didn't purchase a single piece of real estate when interest rates were low and the buying frenzy was happening. I'm more of a, Warren Buffett follower. When they're buying, I'm selling, and when they're selling, I'm buying. I've always followed that philosophy. That's worked for me. That doesn't work for everybody. But I will say that the average American consumer sees 0% interest rate on credit cards and they rack up credit card debt. They see 1% interest on a car and they're purchasing new cars, and they saw 2 and 3% interest on homes and they thought it was a great time to buy a home. And some of them bought homes that frankly they hated, and they're stuck with that decision and aren't happy with that decision, but they got a great interest rate and a low monthly payment. So now they're kind of locked in because they can't move out of that 2.5%, 3% interest rate. 3, there's more bad realtors than good ones. The fact of the matter is there are a lot of agents in this business, and I think this NAR lawsuit will trim some of that fat. However, I've just year in and year out, day in and day out, I'm disgusted with our industry, and I see so many backhanded tactics agents use to get a deal done. And frankly, the last 5 years, I've seen so many agents put their buyers specifically in really bad, vulnerable positions just to get a home. And I won't get into specifics, but it's anywhere from waiving inspections to going way above and beyond the asking price and immediately being upside down on the value of the home. I've just seen so many agents get commission breath and do anything they can to sell a home that I think it's going to be healthy for this industry to see a lot of that go away when the National Association of Realtors settles their lawsuit and the changes in this industry happen. So there's just more bad realtors than good ones. There's very few good realtors in this business. Yes, I said it. That's the way I feel. And if you go back to episode 58, I've got the 5 things that reveal a very inexperienced agent. Number 4, the real estate business is highly, highly competitive. Agents will do or say anything to get your business. And they will do or say anything about other agents to knock them down. Man, you got to have thick skin in this business. I can't tell you how competitive it is on a daily basis. And right now, especially with low inventory and there's not a lot of transactions being had, but there's a record amount of agents. They'll cut you off at the knees right now to get a deal done, to get a client, to get a listing. They'll do whatever it takes right now. So it's really competitive, and it's not for the faint of heart. And those that have survived 5 plus, 10 plus years, 25 years like me have seen it all and probably seen more losses than wins, but it's one of the most competitive industries, I think, out there. Number 5, the consumer does need a real estate professional involved in a real estate transaction. Although this NAR lawsuit is going to change the way we transact business, it's not going to change the fact that this is a very emotional purchase, and you need a good, logical, level-headed, professional, experienced expert on your side to guide you through the ups and downs and the roller coaster of purchasing or selling a home. I think there's a statistic out there that says that buying or selling a home is the second most emotional thing you'll ever do in your lifetime. And I think number one is going through a divorce. So for most people, it is the most emotional thing they'll ever do in their lifetime. So having a professional on your side that can walk you through and guide you through those emotions is really important. And I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think the consumer is always going to need an expert to guide them through this process. If you go back to episode 21, I've actually got 10 questions you can ask before hiring a real estate agent. So number 6, nobody knows for sure what the future will bring when it comes to home values. There's a famous scene in one of my favorite movies, The Wolf of Wall Street, where they're sitting across, they're talking about stocks, and he starts talking about how it's a fugazi, it's a fugazi, it's fairy dust, it's nobody knows, up, down, sideways, nobody knows the direction the stock market's going to go, nobody knows the direction of real estate's going to go. So I get asked all the time by my clients when we stand in a home, they're going to make an offer on something, do you think this will be worth more in the future? What do you think the housing market's going to do? Where do you think interest rates are going to go? I can give you some educated guesses, but even with my 25 years of experience and scars in this business, I have no idea if homes are going to go up or down or sideways. Nobody knows where this economy is going to go. I mean, things can happen in this world. I've seen 9/11s happen. I've seen COVID. I've seen the Great Recession happen in 2008. I've seen so many things that were totally unexpected that nobody predicted. I'm not going to go out on a limb and make any guarantees as to what the housing market is or isn't going to do, and nobody knows. Number 7, the public thinks all realtors do the same thing. They think because we have the name realtor next to our name that we're all the same, we're all cut from the same cloth, and we all do the same thing. That couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. There are so many different personalities. There are so many different ways of doing business in this real estate business. There are no two realtors that are the same. And I always tell my clients, you need to interview multiple agents when you're buying or selling a home. Don't just go with your friend. You need to go with somebody that you think is the expert in your area. And this is going to be really a marriage between the two of you. And you want to make sure that it's a marriage that's going to work and a relationship that's going to last, because this could be a process that could take anywhere from 6 days, 6 months to a year. So you want to make sure that you have somebody that you can trust that's going to guide you through this process. And please do your homework on the agent that you're going to hire and make sure that you understand that we're not all the same, and find the one that fits you and your needs and your personality. Number 8, this business changes fast. If I've learned anything, we need to keep growing. We need to keep learning. We need to keep educating ourselves on what's happening in this industry. This industry changes so quickly that if we're not continuing to educate ourselves on the broader marketplace, on some of the changes that are happening in the overall national picture of real estate, and we put our head in the sand and just get stuck in our local market, we're going to miss out on not only opportunities, but we're going to miss out on educating our clients on certain things that are happening in this industry that are just changing so quickly. And specifically right now, the NAR lawsuit is one of the hottest topics, and that's going to change our industry. It's going to turn it on its head overnight. And I've been doing a lot of homework and a lot of research on what may or may not happen. And I know that when it does happen, that I will be at the forefront of this, and I will know exactly how it's going to affect my buyers and my sellers, and how I can help them navigate through these changes that are going to happen without affecting them in a negative way. Number 9, you can't please everyone. If I've learned anything, one of the biggest challenges for me was early in my career, I wanted to make everybody happy. I wanted to please everybody. And there's an old saying, if you want to make everybody happy, sell ice cream. And I don't even think you can do that anymore. I think they're going to get upset with the temperature of the ice cream, or the way the ice cream is in the cone, or the flavor of the ice cream, or how it was delivered to them. I just don't think you can please everybody in this business. And I think you will beat your head against the wall trying to please everybody. I do the best I can for every client that I work with. But I know at the end of the day, just about every seller wants more money for their home, and just about every buyer wishes they would have paid less. It's unfortunate, but it's the way most buyers and sellers feel. I think it's really hard as an agent to understand that it's nearly impossible to make everybody happy. Number 10, I should have been a commercial real estate broker. I've said this many times. The emotions in a residential real estate transaction are so high, and I'm just a very non-emotional person for the most part. It's looking back in my career, it would have made more sense to me to be part of more of a logical business transaction like a commercial transaction. So if I could have done anything over 25 years ago, I probably would have gotten into the commercial aspect of things. That being said, I'm not sure I'd be sitting here today and having had the success that I've had being emotional. The logic and the level-headedness that I have, I think, has led to the success that I've had. And I think that's the type of clients that I attract, are those that rely on me for that, the good advice. I always tell people, if you want somebody to tell you what you want to hear, hire your friend. If you want somebody to tell you what you need to hear, hire an advisor, and that's who I am. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. I'm that trusted advisor. I'm going to help you make those good, logical decisions and keep those emotions intact. Number 11, always do the right thing when nobody's watching. Character matters. And specifically in this industry, it's easy to go chasing a commission dollar and, not bring something up that needs to be brought up, not disclose something that needs to be disclosed just to make sure you get a paycheck at the end of the day. And I know it happens every day, but I would rather be that agent that tells you not to buy a house because of a certain issue or disclose something to you that, might negatively affect you as a seller someday when you go to purchase a home, so that you're educated and that you're going into this with eyes wide open. And in some cases, it's cost me a sale. And I would rather that than have a buyer purchase a home that they find something out that wasn't properly disclosed to them or that I should have told them, and have it come back to me. So transparency, honesty, and doing the right thing, even when nobody's watching, I think is really an important trait that more realtors need to have in this industry. Number 12, the right agent can make you a lot of money. The wrong agent can cost you a lot of money. I always tell my clients, if you think I'm expensive, you should see what it will cost you to hire someone who has no idea what they're doing. Inexperience and agents that are just chasing a commission dollar, ultimately in the end, will cost you money. I always tell people there's really two kind of agents in this business. There's the trophy agents, those that just want to get a trophy or a medal or an award, and they'll do anything and say anything to get a sale, to reach that next, to go from diamond to platinum status and get that next award. And there's those agents that will always do the right thing, and that I call them, they're just good, solid citizens. They're people that will just always give you good, solid, honest advice, and they're worth their weight in gold when it comes to a good, solid agent. A lot of times when I'm competing against other agents for a listing, they're going to offer them, I might say I'm 6%, they may offer 4 or 5%. Yeah, it sounds great on the front end that they're going to give you a discount, but when it comes down to the trenches of negotiations, the ability to market your home, to find a buyer that's willing to pay more, I know that my clients will always come out ahead, even though I may charge a little bit more than the next person. My clients will always get 3, 4, sometimes as much as 5% more than anybody in the marketplace, based on the things I'm willing to do for them and going the extra mile for them, specifically when it comes to negotiations. Listen, these are things I wish I knew before getting into the business. I will wrap up the biggest lessons I've learned over the last 25 years in the next episode of the Raw Real Estate Podcast.